Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name's Bianca Boudreau. I'm the Director of Education for Kemon North America. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Today, I'm going to go over everything that you need to know about the Actyva Coloro segment. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And we're going to get started. All right. So what's on the agenda for today is we're going to talk about who we are as a company, an overview of some of the other brands that we carry, everything about Activa Coloro. At the end, we're going to go over our education pathway and some of the other classes that we have to offer, and then how to contact us if you need.
Seen the righteous forsaken. Seen the righteous forsaken. Seen the righteous forsaken.
I really love that video because I feel like it really portrays Cayman in such a beautiful way. And it just shows some of the other things that we do in all across Europe. So I'm glad that I'm bringing this here to you here in the States so that you can see some of the other ways that we kind of bring life to Cayman. So this video showcased Angela Seminara, who is our new creative director. Brilliant mind. So glad that they brought him on, but also the Sierra creative team based out of Madrid, who are also as equally amazing. And so I just really love watching that video because it really is so inspiring and just a beautiful visual for all of us here. So let's talk about who we are as a company. So way back post World War II Italy, Partino and Amalia Nocentini really found themselves not only having to rebuild their family, but also their careers. And this was the perfect opportunity for them to fulfill their dream of creating a brand that not only valued their employees, but also valued the earth and sustainability, and created green and clean products that still performed at the professional level. And I really feel that they were true innovators of this industry because they were at the forefront of the green and clean movement. It was not something that was really big during those times. And so I really feel like they really were steps ahead of the industry. Some of the core values that they stand behind are true visionary beauty. They stay true to not only authentic and transparent manufacturing practices, but also formulas and foundational education. And then again, I think that they're true visionaries of this industry by creating innovative technologies, which we'll talk about in the next few slides, but also really creative education. And we also include the trend report inside of our education because we know that what is trending in fashion and what is going on there is going to trickle down to our industry. And so it really plays a pivotal role in what is going on with our clients' wants and needs in the salon. And then beauty. We are helping support the beauty industry by creating beautiful green and clean products for the everyday consumer. So our sustainability, the one amazing thing that we have is what's called a Cayman Open Lab. And so we grow our own botanicals that we use in not only our Velian complex, but also our Bond Creator complex. And this is on our own botanical farm, just steps away from our factory. And then on our factory, or sorry, I should say in our factory, we run our factory off of 100% green energy. And then we use reverse osmosis to purify the water and cool down our machinery. So it results in zero water waste. And then we really take recyclable packaging at one of our forefronts. And so we're always striving to create more eco-conscious packaging for all of our segments. So we're always aiming to lessen our carbon footprint um, and protect our planet.
In November 2022, we started to pack our Kramer hair color range in recycled aluminum tubes, and we aim to extend this trend to all our hair color lines by 2024. Visionary and increasingly sustainable. Our color formulas are enriched with Valian Complex, a patented blend of the extracts of 4 medicinal plants organically and locally grown in our open lab. 1 year of production will allow us to save energy equivalent to the yearly consumption of about 120 two-person households. Also, the use of recycled paper materials will enable us to preserve over 50 centennial oak trees. Our manufacturing plans has increased the efficiency of its filling lines within the frameworks of the Industry 4.0 concept. We have implemented environmental labeling for all our product lines to promote greater consumer knowledge and awareness of correct recycling practices. We strive every day for a sustainable future. Kemon, towards a green future.
I really love that video because I feel like, again, it's a great representation of showing what the efforts that we're putting into our sustainability and how we're really striving to become better and better for our environment. And the numbers that you saw with how much energy we're preserving, I think it was a 122 person household. That number is only going to grow exponentially the more that we find ways of doing things a little bit more sustainable. And so I just think that that's such a beautiful concept. And so this really was a great visual aid for that. So some of our partnerships and certifications include we have been a corporate golden donor of the FAI, which is an Italian national trust since 2014. But in 2015, we were among the founding members of a archaeological arboretum in the city of Città de Castello. And what the aim of this foundation is to not only preserve the architectural history, but also the agricultural history of this city and beyond. And so as of now, they've been able to find over 400 ancient and rare fruit and tree species and help regrow them to help bring up the biodiversity there. And I just think that that's so beautiful and such a great way of giving back. And then we also have our ISO certifications, and ISO stands for Organization for Standardization. And this is a very prestigious thing to have. And not only is one prestigious, but we have 5. And they're very, very hard to get. So there's a company that's going to come in and make sure that we're holding ourselves to the highest standard. And we voluntarily put ourselves through this. And so some of the certifications include the percentage of natural organic ingredients, health and safety, environmental management, good manufacturing practices, and quality management. And I think that's really true testament of how we're holding ourselves to have such a high standard. So let's talk about some of our patents. So we have the Velian complex, which is a synergistic blend of 4 botanicals providing antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant action both to the hair and the scalp. And then we have our bond creator complex, which is a plant-based complex designed to help repair the disulfide bonds that get disrupted during any lightning service. And then we have our patent pending Alcala complex. This is pretty amazing complex. It's the next generation. It's a unique blend of alkalizing and chelating properties that help remove some of the minerals that are in the hair that can result in unwanted tones. So it helps remove those during the coloring service, and to really just give you the most true to tone color that you can get. So we're going to dive a little bit more into the Velian complex and why it's so important to us here at Kemon. Such a beautiful field. I cannot wait to see it one day. And so I just think that that was a great visual of each of the plants that represent the Velian complex. And we're going to dive a little deeper into what they do. So the four botanicals that are responsible for the Velian complex are mullein, helichrysum, flax, and Dyer's chamomile. And these all combine, well, these all singular have a lot of different beneficial properties on their own. But when we have them work synergistically together, they're like a powerhouse blend that have not only soothing, calming, and refreshing properties to both the hair and the scalp. The linseed oil in the flax also has strengthening powers to the hair shaft as well. And so the reason why the Velian complex is so important to us is that it's in everything that we have in Kemon, from our colors to our developers to all of our styling aids and shampoos and conditioners. So this is really our backbone of a complex. This saying is something that I've been saying since the beginning of my career with Kemon. And it says, the beautiful thing about Kemon is that there is something for every type of salon, stylist, and client. And I'm going to show you the range so that you can see that we do have something for everybody. So this is our portfolio. So some of the other systems that we have are our Coloro Color System, which was made back in 1965. It's an easy to use traditional color. Our Yo Color System, which is our ammonia-free yogurt-based hair color. Our Actyva Coloro, which we're going to talk about today, it's 95% natural. It's a skincare-based color, but it can also lift through cosmetic color. And then our Lunex system is our lightning system that has solutions that lift up from 1 to 2 levels of lift, all the way up to 9 levels of lift. And then we have our Actyva Care, which is 2 segments. It's up to 96% natural, and it's a high-end scalp care segment, but also a hair care segment. And the products are all made with green and clean formulations. So let's look into the range. So in Actyva, we have our Actyva Care and our Actyva Coloro system. So in our Actyva Care, we have our scalp care, our hair care, and our leave-in styling aids. In our Actyva Coloro system, we have our TPHC. The TPHC stands for the permanent hair color. We have a booster, and then we also have our Demi permanent gels, and we have a gloss with the Demi permanent gels. So let's dive in. Okay, so when we told people that we created a third permanent hair color line, they said, well, why do we need a third one? Well, we realized that there are some limitations with hair color. So, for example, ammonia is super efficient, but it has an unpleasant odor and it's irritating when used in high amounts on the scalp. But it delivers the best coverage and lift. And then we have MEA, which we use in our Yo Color system. So the MEA doesn't penetrate as much into the cortex as the ammonia does, and it also can remain on the hair shaft if not removed properly. but it does provide a really pleasant experience for the salon. And then, so it doesn't matter if your formula is perfect, but if there is a buildup of minerals in the way, it can provide unwanted tones no matter what. And then, so if you wanted to do a chelating service or a chelating treatment, it's going to take up a lot of time to do that before every color and service. So it's going to cost you time and money. So that's why we came up with the Actyva Coloro patent pending alkali complex. This is going to be your one-stop shop for everything that you need for those issues. So some of the technology behind Actyva Coloro is again the alkali complex. So this is our metal detox agent. So it's our patent pending complex that works with a blend of alkalizers and chelators that help swell the cuticle and deliver the color, but it also detoxes the minerals and other pollutants while it's working. And then it also repairs the hair during the service because we have a biomimetic blend of keratin amino acids that mimic the natural keratin amino acids in your hair, and it helps rebuild the structure of your hair. And then it provides exceptional nutrition. So the punicic acid that's found from in pomegranate seeds. So punicic acid is our omega-5 oil. So we've found that there is a high concentration of punicic acid in pomegranate seeds. And so we upcycled pomegranate seeds, and these provide not only antioxidant action, but it increases volume, shine, and softness. And so we're not only recycling things, we are upcycling things. So normally these seeds would be discarded, but we have been able to find another beautiful use for them. So some of the technology continued. We also have what's called equimolar formulations. This means it's that they're very balanced formulations that help support the comfort on the scalp, increase shine, color accuracy, and color longevity. There is 95% natural and vegan. And so we use over 100 raw materials of natural origin with no animal byproduct. And then lastly, we say skinification because this the base of this hair color is a skin cream. And the reason why we think that is important is because your scalp is just an extension of your skin. And so the entire range has been dermatologically tested, and the skincare cream base really provides the most beautiful, luxurious texture. So some of the sustainable packaging that we have, the reason why we have a lot of the sustainable packaging is because it significantly decreases our plastic waste, but also our CO2 emissions. And like we said earlier, our aim is to lessen our carbon footprint in any way that we can. So by using our PET, which is recycled plastics, we use those in our Demi permanents and our gloss. We use recycled aluminum in our permanent hair color tubes. And then we use what's called green PE, which is a new innovative non-petroleum based product obtained from sugarcane. And we use that in all of our caloric activators. And so again, by doing all this, it's really reducing our greenhouse gases. So let's talk about the features and benefits of our Coloro system. So we have our permanent hair color, which is called our TPHC. We have what is our booster. So that's just another key feature that we'll talk about in a little bit. With our Demi permanent, we have what's called MPH technology. The Demi has the 6.5 and the 10 volume. Our permanent hair color uses the typical 10 through 40. Everything has been dermatologically tested. Our Demi is PPD and resorcinol free. Everything uses equimolar formulations, which adds incredible shine. This range, you're able to intermix the permanent hair color and the Demi for over 13 different services, providing varying coverage, providing varying gray coverage. And we also can lift up to 3 levels on cosmetically colored hair by using the booster with the permanent hair color. And then we can lift up to 5 levels of lift on virgin hair using our high lift series. And so we're going to go in through all of these and how to use them. So let's go a little bit more in depth on what the alkali complex is. So this is not a traditional ammoniated color, but again, it's not MEA. So this is a patent pending complex that does the best of the three worlds. So it alkalizes as well as ammonia does. It has low to little odor like ammonia free, but it chelates the hair and provides a clean canvas with no unwanted tones. So the four things that this is made up of is ammonia, ammonium bicarbonate, ammonium methylpropanol, and dimethylglucamine. And we're going to talk about how they work. So not only is it alkalizing and chelating, but it's also detoxifying effects. And so by utilizing these four together, we're able to lower the threshold of each component to lessen the chemical exposure. So like we had talked about with the Valium complex, each of these four things do its own job individually, but by having them work synergistically together, we can lower the amount of how much we add in so it's not harsh at all to the hair. And so again, it's increased gentleness to not only the hair and the scalp. So with all of these working together, we can control the swelling of the cuticle. So we're not swelling the cuticle as much and still being able to penetrate deep into that cortex. We have our metal removing agent, which binds to the metals and the ions on both the surface and the inner structures of the hair. So it's really detoxing all of those metals and impurities out of the hair during the service. And then all of this helps for greater lightening of cosmetic color, more even results, and incredible shine. So this really is a powerhouse of a product. And I just can't say enough about it. Okay, so let's talk about our mixing ratios. So our mixing ratios with our permanents, anywhere levels 1 through 10, you're going to mix 1 to 1.5 with your typical 10 through 40 developer. Your super lighteners are going to be mixed 1 to 2 with your 40 activator only. And your Demi is going to be mixed 1 to 1 with either your 6.5 volume or your 10 volume. The processing time for each of those are your 6.5 volume goes anywhere from up to 20 to 30 minutes. So your 6.5 volume is really used for toning. So use your discretion on anywhere between 5 and then 20 to 30 minutes. Your 10 volume needs to be processed for a full 30 minutes. Your 20 volume is 35 minutes. Your 30 volume is 40 minutes, and your 40 volume is 50 minutes. Those processing times are the full time to be able to get the fullest lift and deposit that you're looking for. So the levels of lift that you can expect with each of these developers are 6.5 volume is just going to be deposit only. Your 10 on, your 10 volume is tone on tone. Your 20 volume can lift up to 2 levels. Your 30 volume can lift up to 3 levels. And your 40 volume can lift up to 4 to 5 levels of lift. And we're saying up to because it depends on what we're working with. When you're working with somebody who has fine to normal hair, you might be able to get that 2 levels of lift. But when you're working with somebody who has really thick or coarse hair, you might only get that 1 level of lift. And some of the considerations that we want you to think about is how we teach hair color here in Kemon is that you always have to account for your starting level when thinking about how many levels of lift that you need. So if you're going from a level 5 to a level 7, you actually have 3 levels of lift because you're lifting through your level 5, through your level 6, and lifting out all the pigment at a level 7 in order to be able to deposit enough of that pigment to get a clean level 7. So anytime that you're counting the levels of lift, you always have to make sure that you're counting your starting level. All right, so let's look at our swatch chart presentation. So here are all the beautiful colors that we have, and we're adding to it. They're always coming up with new innovative colors to add to our collection. So right now, this is the range that we have for our permanent hair color. And you can see down here, we have our super lighteners. And then over here, we have all of our colors that are included in our Actyva Coloro Demi, as well as our intensifiers at the bottom, and then our clear gloss. So let's talk about the numbering system and how to break down what each number means. So we're going to take the 7.24, for example. So when you're looking at this color, the first number that you're going to see is going to be representing your level. When you see a decimal, any number after that is going to represent the tone. So your first number is going to be the dominant tone that your eye sees. And if you have another number, that number is going to represent the secondary tone. So your level is responsible for how light or dark the color is. Your dominant tone is generally about 2/3 of the total tonality, and your secondary tone is about 1/3 of your total tonality. So for instance, this example here, we have a beautiful level 7, kind of chocolatey brown color. So let's look at our numbers and what they mean. So for Activa Coloro, our 0.1 is our blue, and it lives in the blue pie swatch. Our 0.2 is yellow-green, which we consider our beige. Our 0.3 is our gold. Our 0.4 is our copper. Our 0.5 is our red colors. Our 0.6 is red-violet, which we also call mahogany. Our 0.7 is our violets, and our 0.8s are responsible for our blue-violet, which we also call pearl. And then you see here on the outside, this is where our intensifiers live. So it's always important that you look at this color wheel. When you are on the inside is representative of the black. And as you go out and out and out, you're getting lighter and lighter and lighter and more diffuse. So as you come in, you're getting more concentrated with that color. And so it's really important to know where your colors live on the color wheel in order to um, choose the best fit for your formulations, and be able to correct any unwanted tones that you need. So we're going to go into how to formulate with the permanent hair color. So again, here's our color wheel, and we're going to go back to this in just a second. So when we are formulating, oh, I think I just skipped a page. I'm sorry. Maybe not. We'll just keep going. So let's talk about our super lighteners. So our super lightener series makes it possible to lift up to 5 levels of lift. And then the lightening action is limited to just the regrowth area, and we don't want to exceed 1.5 centimeters because we want to avoid demarcation lines. So these super lighteners are going to be mixed 1 to 2 with 40 volume, and they're going to be processed for up to 50 minutes. So with our super lighteners, we can achieve 5 levels of lift on virgin hair, and your natural level base is going to be like a 5, a 6, or a 7. Again, you're going to mix 1 to 2, and you're going to process for 40 with 40 volume for 50 minutes. So we have what's called the booster. The booster helps you lift through cosmetic color, and we have 3 different services that you can provide with the booster. And I'm going to explain how this all works. So if you want what's called the high lift service, the high lift service helps you lift three levels of cosmetically colored hair, and this is ideal on levels 4, 5, and 6. What you're going to do is you're going to mix equal parts of the super lightener of your choice plus the booster, and then mix that with 2 parts of 40 volume. So equal parts super lightener and booster, 1 to 2 with 40 volume. And then, so the example that we gave you is your 1007.8, 10 grams, and then 10 grams of the booster to 40 grams of 40 volume. And you're going to process this in foils for a full 35 minutes. And you should be able to get up to 3 levels of lift on cosmetically colored hair. If you're just looking for about 2 levels of lift, then what you're going to do is you're going to mix equal parts of the Coloro permanent hair color, any color of your choice in levels 9 or 10, plus the booster, and you're going to mix that 1-to-1 with either 30 or 40 volume. So for the example that we give you, we're going to mix 10 grams of 10 plus 10 grams of the booster with 30 grams of 40 volume. And again, we're going to process this in foils, and we're going to let that sit for a full 35 minutes. And we are going to get at least 2 levels of lift on cosmetically colored hair. If you just want to remove any unwanted color buildup and maybe achieve about a half a level, you can mix the booster with 30 volume, and then you're just going to process that visually until that color buildup is removed. There we go. Oh, I'm gonna go back here because I think we might have missed something. Here we go. I knew I must have skipped something. So let's talk about gray coverage. So the following table shows the gray coverage percentage provided by each shade. So when we're talking about the permanent hair color, every color has a different percentage of gray coverage. And so this chart is really important to learn because you're going to be able to formulate correctly if you know this information. So the colors that are responsible for 100% gray coverage, this can be mixed by itself with 20 volume or more, and you're going to get 100% gray coverage. These include your 0.3s, your 2.4s, your naturals, your 0.0s, your 0.06, your 0.14, and your 0.13s. So any of those colors in those series are going to give you 100% gray coverage on its own when intermixed with at least 20 volume. But your 0.5s, your 0.4s, and your 0.37s, they only have about 70% coverage. So if any one of those are your target color and you want to achieve 100% gray coverage, 30% of your formula has to come from the natural series. The 0.18s, the 0.78s only have 50% coverage. So in order to achieve 100% coverage, you have to add half of your formula coming from the natural series. Now, if you wanted a little bit better coverage or a little bit more warmth, you can use, instead of the natural series, you could also use the 0.24 series, which is also a gray coverage color, intermixed into your formula, and those can give you a beautiful 100% gray coverage as well. But then our super lighteners don't have any coverage. No gray coverage is what I meant. So here we have our color wheel. So when we are talking about formulating, again, we really need to make sure that we know where our colors live so that we can help formulate and counteract or enhance any of the colors that we face. Okay, so how we're going to formulate. So what we need to consider is our natural contributing pigment chart, and this is what this is here. So on the left, you can see our tones or our levels. So our 1 being black and our 10 being our extra light blonde and what those colors look like. And on the right, you can see what our natural contributing pigment is, or some people call our underlying pigment. And this is the color that's going to be exposed at each level when lifting through the color. So we really need to make sure that we know exactly what level we're starting at, exactly what level we're going to finish at, or where we are in the lifting process to be able to help counteract or enhance the color to be what our target shade is. So, how do we formulate? You need to know what your natural level is, what your target level is, what your target color is, the percentage of gray hair, and when you know all that, then you also have to add in the natural contributing pigment at your target level. So that is either that's going to be a big factor in how you are um, choosing your color choices and then your activator choice as well. So when you have all the information, then you can properly formulate. So let's go into some sample formulas. We talked earlier about if we had a natural level 5 and we wanted to be a level 7, our target color is a neutral cool. If we don't have any gray present, we know that at a level 7, our natural contributing pigment is orange. So if we wanted a neutral cool result, we need to choose a color that's going to help neutralize our orange. And so for this example, we're going to use a 7.18. Because we don't have any gray present, we're going to use our 7.18 with 30 volume. And we're going to take this same formula and we're going to add in some gray in there. So if we were a natural level 5, our target level wanted to be a 7. Again, we want to be neutral cool, but we do have gray. So not only do we need to combat the orange that's showing up in the level 7, but we also need to have a gray coverage color. So this formula, we're going to use our natural series, our 7, which is our gray coverage, but we can still use the 7.18, which is going to help neutralize, again with our 30 volume. So you're going to mix those half and half. So we know that our 0.18s only have 50% coverage. So that's why we're using the other half of our formula being from the natural series. Mixed with 30 volume, and you're going to get a beautiful neutral cool result at a level 7. If you wanted a little bit more warmth or a little bit, you could skew this a little bit. You could actually add the 7.24 with the 718 and get a little bit warmer than neutral, but not super warm result. Okay, so moving on, we're going to continue with these sample formulations. We have our natural level 7. We want to be a target level 8. Our target color is copper. Our percentage is 50%. Our natural contributing pigment is a yellow-orange at a level 8. And so we need to not only cover gray, but we also want to keep this a really nice, rich copper. So we could use our 8.3, which is our gray coverage color, and our 844. And then we could have 10 grams of 8.3 with 20 grams of 8.44 with 20 grams, with 20 volume and get a beautiful 100% copper gray coverage color. Now, if we had somebody that was 100% white, wanted to be a neutral level 7, and they had 100% white in their hair, sometimes we would say you could use your level 7, which is your 100% gray coverage color, and a 7.3, which is a little bit warm, which is going to help make it neutral and not too cool with 20 volume and get a beautiful result. However, you could also use a level 7 with a 7.24 with 20 volume and get a neutral rich result as well. So we're going to talk about the Kemon rule of 30. And what this means is that if you are not covering um, with the 20 volume the way that you want or the coverage that you want, what they're saying is that you can drop down a level and use 30 volume. So for example, if you were naturally white, your target level was 7, you wanted a warm level 7, and you had 100% gray, but it was resistant gray, sometimes using a 7.3 is not going to get you the coverage that you want. So we're going to say you can drop down to a 6.3 and use 30 volume, and that will give you the lift and deposit that you need to really combat that resistancy. And this goes for all of Kemon products. So for our next formula, we have our natural level is white. We want to be a level 7. We want to be a neutral level 7. And again, we have 100% resistant white hair. So we didn't talk about the fact that there is no natural contributing pigment in this because it's white. So there is no residual pigment that you're going to expose. And so what we can do is instead of using a 7 and a 7.3, we can drop it down and use a 6 and a 6.3 with 30 volume and get beautiful 100% coverage. Excuse me. If you also wanted to, instead of the 0.3, you could use the 0.24s, and that could also be one of your color choices. Okay, so here's a formula with your super lighteners or your high lift series. So if you had a client come in and she was a natural level 6, she wanted to be a neutral cool level 10. There's no gray present. We know at a level 10 it is pale yellow. And so if we wanted a neutral cool, we're going to either choose the 1001.8 or the 1007.8 to combat that pale yellow with 40 volume and leave it on for 50 minutes. And then this example formula is for using the booster. And so we said that the booster can lift anywhere from half of a level of lift to 2 to 3 levels of lift on cosmetic colored hair. So for this example, we have somebody who's a level 5, but she's color treated. We just want to add some level 8 highlights and have them neutral. And so we're not talking about gray, but we know that at a level 8, the natural contributing pigment is a yellow-orange. And so we need to formulate so that we can combat some of those unwanted tones. So remember, in order to lift 3 levels of lift, you have to have a high lift series. So we're going to choose the 1007.8, and equal parts are your booster with 40 volume left on for 35 minutes in foil. And that's going to give you 3 levels of lift on color treated hair to give you level 8 highlights. So let's move on to our Demi permanent formulations. So using our Coloro Demi makes it possible for us to have essentially neutral pH when you use the 6.5 volume, but we also can get varying coverage if using the 10 volume. So what MPH technology means is that by using different developers, it modulates the pH so that you can do different things and have different services. So the 6.5 volume is just to restore the level and tone, add shine to the hair, and create vibrant and lustrous, luminous colors. Your 10 volume is slightly alkaline, and this is going to be used on natural hair, and it can give up to 60% gray coverage, radiant, natural looking hair, really long lasting tone, but not a lot of regrowth, demarcation in the regrowth. And so with the permanent, this is very similar. The following table shows the gray white percentage at each of these shades. So we have no coverage for the 0.18s, any of the intensifiers, the 0.7, the 0.77, the 7/8, the 0.3, the 0.37, and the 10. So those colors do not have any coverage associated with them. However, the ash pearls have 50% coverage. Your 0.3, your 8.3, and your 9.3 can give you 50%. Your 9.4 can give you 50%. Your 7.5, your 6, your 8, and your 9.14 can also give you 50%. And then your 60% is 624, 724, 824. Your 5.3 through 7.3, some of your naturals, your 6.4 copper, your 8.44 copper, and your 4.7. Excuse me. So if you noticed, we said that there's no coverage in our 10.3 gold, but there is varying coverage in our other shades. And because of the depth, that's what's giving the coverage. So no coverage in a 10.3, but we do have 50% coverage in our 8.3 and our 9.3. But then we also have 60% coverage in our 5.3 and our 7.3. So this chart is really going to be your best friend in order to figure out how to get the best coverage with each tone that you're choosing. So another cool option and feature that we have is we can get gray blending by intermixing the Coloro Demi and the permanent hair color. And so how we're going to do this is that there's varying coverages, varying percentages of coverage. And so we're going to start at how to get the highest percentage of coverage. So to get 90% gray blending, you're going to mix tone on tone and demi. And this is called our tone on tone high coverage cream service. You're going to mix equal parts of Coloro permanent to equal parts of Coloro demi with your 10 volume. And you're going to leave that on for 30 minutes, and you're going to get up to 90% gray blending. If you want 70% gray blending, which is our tone on tone cream service, you're going to intermix equal parts of the permanent hair color with your Coloro Demi, but with your 6.5 volume, and you're going to leave that on for 20 minutes. And then if you just want up to 70% gray blending with any of those Coloro Demi colors, you can mix them Coloro Demi with 10 volume, 30 minutes, and let it sit. So it's a really beautiful system that we have all these ways of getting different percentages of gray blending to be able to customize anything that you need for the desire of your client. So some of the special series that we offer with the Actyva Colora is color and strength. So the objective for this service is to not only restructure the hair, but also to tone the hair at the same time. So this is a reconstructing and toning service all in one. And so it's ideal on processed hair. There's no gray coverage. The benefits is that you can do two things in once, so it's really going to save you time and money. So what you're going to do is you're going to mix equal parts of your Actyva Color Demi Permanent color of your choice, equal amounts of the Coloro Gloss, and then you're going to mix in your Nuova Fibra serum. And so with the example formula that we have, it's 15 mLs of the Demi color of your choice, 15 mLs of the Coloro Gloss, and it's 30 mLs of the Nuova Fibra serum, which is basically the full bottle of the serum. And you're gonna mix that with the 6.5 activator, and you're gonna process that for 15 minutes. And that's really gonna help restructure, strengthen, and tone the hair all at the same time. And so again, this is just a beautiful special service that you can do. And then we also have what's called color and shape. This makes it so that you can tone the hair at the same time when you're doing a perm solution. So how you're going to do this is you're going to choose the demi-permanent color of your choice. You're going to mix with 1 to 2 with your 6.5 volume. And so what you're going to do is you're going to replace your second neutralizer of the perm solution. And instead of doing the second neutralizer, you're going to use your 1 to 2 mixing ratio of your demi gloss with your 6.5 volume. And you're going to apply that as your neutralizer and let that process for 8 minutes. And you have beautiful tone on a permed hair all on the same day. Okay, so we have some more sample formulations just so that we make sure that we solidify that you guys understand how to use these colors properly. So we're just going to go over how the tone-on-tone gel, the high coverage cream, and the intermixing can work. So anytime you're intermixing the Coloro Demi and the TPHC and how it's going to work. So if you're just doing Coloro Demi and you are using 10 volume, you can get up to 70% coverage. And so what you're going to do is for this formula, it's your natural level is a 4, your target shade is a 424. Your target color is a warm brown and you have 50%. So you want to blend out that 50%, but you can blend out that 50 and get up to 70% gray blending by using your Color Demi 424 with 10 volume, letting it sit for the full 30 minutes. If you want 70% coverage, but you want the cream formula, you can mix, so you can intermix this with, if you're a natural level 6, you want to stay a 6, but you want to be neutral cool and you just want to blend out that 75% gray. We know that the contributing pigment at a red orange, I'm sorry, at a 6 is a red orange. So we need to choose something that's going to cover and cancel out that red orange. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose our Colora permanent hair color level 6 and then our demi permanent color a 6.8, and we're going to intermix that equal parts with 6.5 volume and give you 70% coverage. Add a neutral cool and you're good to go. Then if you wanted even more coverage, so if we just talked about 75% gray, but we only blended 70%, for this example, if you had 75% gray, we can get 90% of that covered by intermixing the Colora Permanent, the Colora Demi, and using 10 volume. So we're a level 6. We want to be a level 6. We want to stay neutral cool. Just blend out that 75% gray fully. Excuse me. We know that at an level 6, your natural contributing pigment is a red orange. So we're going to intermix your permanent hair color 6 equal parts of your demi permanent 6.8 with 10 volume, letting that process the full time. And that's going to give you up to 90% coverage in the cream formula. So I hope that's super beneficial for you guys. So now we're wrapping up this presentation and we're going to talk about why we love our Coloro Color System. Well, one, we talked about the patent pending alkylating complex. This is an odorless blend of alkalizers and metal detox properties to help give you the most true to tone result that you can ask for. We have our Avelian complex that is helps to the antioxidant properties, helps strengthen the hair. The base of coconut oil adds shine and texture. We also have the certifications for the vegan certification. It's up to 95% natural ingredients. We also are PPD and resorcinol free in our demi formulations. It's super nourishing and reparative by using the upcycled pomegranate oil and the biomimetic amino acids. We have the really cool MPH technology and equimolar formulation. So we're able to blend grays without shifting the base. And that's a really beautiful thing. But we also provide balanced formulations, and we know the balanced formulations are soft and gentle on the scalp, but also shiny and add longevity to the color. We have the synergistic system, so we can intermix both the permanent and the Demi for a varying array of services. We do have our green and clean formulation, so it's free of any unnecessary or potentially harsh ingredients. And then everything in the whole range is dermatologically tested. So I just feel that there is so much to love about this color, and I hope you see the value and the benefits in it as well. And I can't wait to have you guys get your hands in it. So we're going to talk a little bit about our education pathway and some of the classes that you will see in the future. So education 2025 and beyond, we have in-salon care. So these classes in salon can be hair care, scalp care, and then cutting and styling classes. We also have our in-salon color classes. So we have opportunities for you to become a master Kemon colorist with 6+ hands-on classes. We also have our creativity, which is academy-based style programs that really have innovative trends and the latest techniques in our placement and formulations. And so please be on the lookout. Ask your DSCs. We have a lot of information on what classes we're offering right now and beyond. Okay, so how to contact us. So Kate Bowser is the director of North America. I am the education director of North America. And here is how you're going to contact us. So if you have any questions for us other than education, then you would want to direct those to Kate Bowser. Her email is kateb@solvebeautybrands, or you can call her and schedule a discovery call. My email is biancab@solvebeautybrands. So if you have any questions, education related, you may email me at any time. You can follow me on social media. I am on Instagram at Bianca Andrea Education. I give a lot of updates, I have reminders of when the monthly virtual education happens. And yeah, you can connect with me on there as much as you need. I also have a stylist page, which is stylist_Bianca Andrea. And that is where I just post some of the work that I've done behind the chair. So feel free to contact us at either one of those emails. You can also follow us on Facebook at Kemon USA #hashtag Culture. It's a lot to say. And then we also have our website, which is KemonUS.com. But we are also, not only do we have our Facebook, we also have our Instagram at KemonUSA.com. On our Facebook page, you can find all of the easy guides, which are the booklets that have all the information that you need in order to use the product. We have people on there that ask questions, post their work. It's just a great way to stay connected. And then on our website, we have all of that information as well. It's KemonUS.com. You're going to create a free login, and once you do, you can have access to all of the learning material that we have on there. And then where you're going to find this video is on our YouTube channel. And so we have our hashtag Kemon Culture YouTube channel. And this is where you're going to find some tutorial videos, some educational videos. And we're going to post all of these live virtual education classes here on YouTube so that you guys can go back and replay and get more of this information at any point. So again, thank you for your time. Please feel free to reach out to us at any moment if you need. We really want to make sure that we're there for you guys and really growing Kemon here and making everybody feel like they are a family, and then this is a culture. And so anything that I can make you guys or give to you guys that will help you utilize this color, please let me know. Thanks so much.